All right, so how do I change the pan reshuffle? Um, of course, how do I be able to change my working directory in R? So this promises to be a very short video. I've just shared my screen, and yeah, I am in R right now. So let me say this: if you install R and then you have your R Studio, it's not a must that this arrangement where you have the source pan here, you have the console pan, you have the environment pan, and then we have the files pan down here. All right, so now you've known their names. The first window on the left top is actually the source fan, the source pan. Then the down left is the console pan. Then top right window, that is the environment pan, and of course the bottom right is also called the files pan. So how do I reshuffle all this so that it's not a must that the console will be here? We can actually reshuffle any of them to be wherever we want them to be. So first of all, you can, when you check if you have your R Studio, if you are watching, if you look at, you can see go to file. The next thing you see this 4 dots here. They actually represent the pans. So you just click on the bottom arrow here. So you can actually choose to do a lot of things here. So you just go to pan layout. So when you go to pan layout, it's going to tell you the current way your pan is being laid. This is the default layout. So each of them has a drop down what is the list that you want, and then of course you will see some things being ticked around there. I will come and talk to them. So if you want to change the source pan, you just come and click on this. So maybe you want that place to be represented by console, so the console will now be over there, and it's going to swap automatically. It's going to swap up and down like that. So if I come here and I also want to change whatsoever, I also have to come and click here. Either I can let this place be the source, or I can let this place be the files, and then the environment will come down there. So if I click here, automatically it's going to swap them. And then you see that if I go here and come and say apply, then I'm going to close that. You can see that now my console is what is the left top window, and then my source pan is now the bottom left window. And of course, when you also come here, you now have your environment at the bottom right, and then your files pan will now be at your top right. So it has been reshuffled. That's how we are able to do it. It's actually, so whatever you are doing, just like the way I was writing, I could write the code here. If I say this plus this, and then I enter, of course I needed to do click and enter. I needed to do control enter. So you see the answer is now appearing on top here, and that's how it is. So we can actually, if you write anything that you write is going to, so you come and run it around here. But because we are used to like things the way they are, sometimes when we reshuffle, we find it difficult to operate. But that is how. I just want you to have information about that. So if I want, we can take it back to where it was. I'll go back to my panel. This is my source. I want my source to be here, and then I can come here and say I want that place to be the environment. So I have done the changes again, and then I will just say okay. So it takes me back to the original. So that's the first part. The second part, we want to look at how do I change my working directory. Yesterday I showed all of us that it's always very important to know your working directory, because if you don't do that, and then of course if you were doing like you want to write to a file, when you go to your local machine, you'll be able to know where to locate that file. We did that, video is there, you can check that. So I'm just going to clear this, and then if you say get working directory, let me show you get working directory, then you do this. If you run it, you see that my current working directory is actually in document. I can actually change the working directory from document to, let's say, my desktop, so that whatever I'm doing, my computer will install everything on my desktop. To do that, you simply come to tools. You can see tools there, go to global settings or global options, and then on the left or the right pan you will see browse. That's actually where you change you click on browse and you can actually change. If you want, you can see that now document is highlighted. If I click on what is desktop and then I come and click opened, I'm going to come down here and click OK. So I've changed my working directory. So I'm going to run the same code again, get working directory, and then you notice that if I now want to get my working directory, it should be able to say that I am now in desktop. So let me do that, and then let's see. I have get working directory, then I do open and close, then run. Okay, so let me refresh it and see. So I'm going to come here and do my global settings and come here and say okay, it's now around this place. So I'm going to come here and apply. I have applied the changes, then I click OK. Don't mind this one. So let me come here and then check my working directory again. Sorry about that. I want to say get working directory, then you just, and then maybe if I click enter. Okay, so I need to refresh again. So I'm going to say I'm just going to everything saved, then I do this, then, and so I'm going to pull that up again, and then you see what is going to happen. I think so. Just bear with me momentarily, I will be done. So I'm just going to Control L, so I just clear the console, and then I'm going to say get WD, and then this. All right, so now when I do that, see that the first now is, you can see that it's now desktop. Now when you do that, you need to refresh your arrow, and when you do refresh, simply means you are simply now going to start like a new session, and then you can have your arrow just here, just like the way it is. Now the very last thing I want to do is there are instances you notice that the links or the tabs are just becoming too many. If I click on this arrow down over there, you see that these are all tab scripts that I have opened. They become, some people, it become too much, so they don't want it. So the whole of those scripts come under what we call a session. So I am on this particular session. I could actually create a new session in such a way that the whole of this will not be there, and I'm going to have only a fresh session. So that's why you normally go to your session, click on session, you can have new session here. Then when you click on that, you're going to start a new session all over again. Then you leave the old session which is there, and then you have your fresh new session. So you can see that I have something on title here. Of course, it's going to start with something there, and then I can just begin from there. If you want to save whatever is entitled here, you just go to your click, your file, you come to save as, and then you are able to save it over there. So that's how it is. So we just looked at two important things. So if you don't want this particular session to be there, you can actually use Control, Shift and H to close it, or you can just close it outright. It takes you back to the old session. So that's what we've just looked at, how to be able to change the pan, reshuffle this pan, and then of course how to be able to, you can reshuffle it the way you want, and of course how are you also able to change your working directory. See that now my working directory is in desktop, it was initially in document, and of course how do you take one session out and bring in another session. So that is how we do all these things, and then what is this, you have your arrow working the way you want. Thank you. That's your video of today. Bye bye.